From the 16th to the 19th centuries, Africa endured a period of profound suffering and exploitation. This era, marked by the transatlantic slave trade, saw millions of Africans forcibly removed from their homeland. They were transported across the Atlantic in appalling conditions to work as slaves in the Americas. This trade had a devastating impact on the African continent. It decimated populations, fueled conflicts, and left a lasting legacy of trauma. The transatlantic slave trade stands as one of the largest forced migrations in human history. It was a system driven by greed, fueled by European demand for labor in the New World. European powers seeking to exploit the vast resources of the Americas turned to Africa for a source of cheap and readily available labor. This demand led to the establishment of a complex and brutal trading network that spanned 3 continents. This dark chapter in human history is essential to understand. It is a story of human cruelty and suffering, but also one of resilience, resistance, and ultimately the triumph of the human spirit in the face of adversity. This essay will explore the origins, dynamics, and consequences of the transatlantic slave trade, shedding light on its profound and enduring impact on Africa. The transatlantic slave trade did not emerge in a vacuum. Its roots lay in the complex interplay of economic, political, and social forces that shaped the early modern world. The European age of exploration, beginning in the 15th century, brought Europeans into increasing contact with Africa. Initially, this contact was primarily focused on trade. Europeans sought gold, ivory, and spices from African kingdoms. However, the discovery of the Americas and the subsequent establishment of plantation economies there dramatically shifted the dynamics of the relationship between Europe and Africa. The cultivation of cash crops, such as sugar, tobacco, and cotton in the Americas, created an insatiable demand for labor. This demand could not be met by the indigenous populations of the Americas, who were decimated by disease and warfare. European powers, driven by the pursuit of profit, turned to Africa as a source of enslaved labor. They exploited existing systems of slavery and warfare in Africa. African rulers and traders, enticed by European goods such as firearms, textiles, and alcohol, became complicit in the trade. Thus began a tragic chapter in human history, one that would have profound and lasting consequences for both Africa and the Americas. The transatlantic slave trade is often portrayed as a one-sided affair, with Europeans forcing Africans into slavery. While it is true that European demand drove the trade, the reality is far more nuanced. African societies were not homogeneous entities, and their involvement in the slave trade varied considerably. Some African kingdoms and elites actively participated in the trade. They saw it as a source of wealth and power. These groups raided neighboring communities for captives, who were then sold to European traders. The Kingdom of Dahomey, for example, became a major slave trading power in West Africa. Its rulers amassed wealth and power through the trade, building a formidable army equipped with European firearms. Similarly, the Ashanti Empire in present-day Ghana played a significant role in the slave trade, using its military prowess to capture and sell slaves. However, it is crucial to remember that many Africans resisted the slave trade. They fought back against slave raiders, refused to participate in the trade, and sought to protect their communities from the ravages of slavery. Some African rulers even negotiated with Europeans to end the trade, seeking alternative forms of economic engagement. The story of the transatlantic slave trade is not only a story of victimhood, but also one of agency and resistance. It is a testament to the strength and resilience of the African people in the face of unimaginable brutality.